Good morning, and thank you for joining us here on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Jason Hackett. This morning, our weather team has extended our KARE 11 weather impact alert as more rain heads to the metro. Our weather team issues these alerts when weather can impact your plans. That alert now runs through 6 tonight, with things clearing up heading into the weekend. We're going to check in with the weather team in just a second. But first, take a look at this new video showing a potential tornado in southern Minnesota. A driver took video of this twister as it crossed the road in front of her in Heartland. Law enforcement apparently saw it as well. Weather officials received reports of damage to a barn. Crews will be assessing on the ground the damage today. If you're driving anywhere in the metro this weekend, pay close attention. Parts of 3 of the busiest highways in the Twin Cities are preparing to shut down. Michelle Beck is here with the closures and the detours around them.
Pay attention. This is what is closing between tomorrow night and Monday morning. Portions of 94, 494, and 35W. So let's start with I-94. Eastbound lanes will be closed between Highway 280 and 35E. Westbound lanes will stay open. Those roads close at 10 tomorrow night. Also closing at that time will be portions of 494. Eastbound lanes will be shut down between Highway 100 and 35W. Westbound lanes of 494 will also be down between Highway 77 and 100. So to detour in both directions, you'll want to use 100, 62, and 77 to get back on 494. A note that ramps will close even earlier tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And this right here is the third closure, 35W in Richfield. Both directions of the highway will be closed between Highway 62 and 494. So you can detour using Highway 77, and for those traveling southbound, 35E all the way down here as well. So everything I mentioned should be back up for you by 5 a.m. Monday. And if you do need a refresher, go to KARE11.com for all the latest details.
A look from the White House this morning, where President Donald Trump will rally for support of his so-called Big Beautiful Bill later today. The president says he wants to sign the bill by next Friday, but the plan is getting a lot of pushback. Here at home, public health advocates are hosting a rally today speaking out against the bill's proposed cuts to healthcare and cancer research. Now, the president is back in the States this morning, pushing back on questions about the success of the strike on Iranian nuclear facilities, the CIA backing the claim that Iran's program was severely damaged. Today, lawmakers will have an opportunity to ask questions when they get a briefing from White House officials. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Hi there. President Trump said an exercise of American strength had paved the way for peace, preparing for talks with Iran while suggesting a nuclear agreement may not be necessary amid questions over the country's ability to rebuild its nuclear program. President Trump back in Washington after the NATO summit, looking to extend a diplomatic win with the Israel-Iran ceasefire into talks with Iran.
We're going to talk to them next week. With Iran, we may sign an agreement. I don't know.
The president downplaying the necessity of signing a deal, insisting U.S. airstrikes on Iranian nuclear sites already accomplish the goal of preventing Iran from developing a nuclear weapon.
We blew it up. It's blown up.
He's pushing back forcefully on a preliminary assessment by the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency estimating Iran's nuclear program was delayed by a matter of months.
They presented a report that wasn't finished.
Defense Secretary Hegseth said the agency had low confidence in its initial assessment.
You want to call it obliterated? Choose your word. This was an historically successful attack.
The weapons were designed, planned, and delivered to ensure that they achieve the effects in the mission space. All 6 weapons at each vent at Fordo went exactly where they were intended to go.
President Trump citing Israeli intelligence that the strikes set Iran's nuclear capabilities back by many years. Iran also acknowledging its nuclear installations were badly damaged. And the CIA director now says credible intelligence indicates Iran's nuclear program would take years to rebuild. 2 sources say he is among the top Trump officials set to brief senators today who have been pressing for answers.
Do we know whether the uranium was there? Do we know whether the centrifuges were there?
House members due to be briefed tomorrow. The two sources who spoke to NBC News and a senior administration official said Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard would not be part of the congressional briefings. NBC News has previously reported Gabbard has been increasingly marginalized after testifying in March that Iran had not made a decision to build a nuclear weapon. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Meantime, a new NBC News poll on how Americans are feeling after the United States bombed nuclear sites in Iran. 26% saying they strongly support the decision, 34% strongly opposed. And there's growing anxiety about what this could mean for the broader region. Nearly 80% of Americans say they are concerned that the current military involvement could escalate into a wider conflict in the Middle East. That includes 45% who are very concerned and 33% who are somewhat concerned. You can find more analysis on NBCnews.com. Also tomorrow, the public will honor Speaker Emerita Melissa Hortman, her husband, and their beloved dog at the state capitol. This morning, we're hearing from some of Mark's family. Most of Mark's family lives in North Carolina, where Mark grew up alongside his older brother Lee and younger sister Lisa. Lee says the last time he saw his brother was 4 months ago when Mark visited his mother and other family in North Carolina. His brother was always calm and collected and was deeply loved, Lee says. He and Mark were only a couple years apart and enjoyed hunting and fishing together.
He's one of the best men I knew. That's the best way to remember him. He was a good man.
And last night, community members gathered in Coon Rapids for a candlelight vigil in honor of Mark and Melissa. The family, friends, colleagues, and even people who never met the Hortmans can honor them tomorrow. Melissa, Mark, and their dog Gilbert will lie in state at the Capitol from noon until 5. Their funerals are on Saturday. We'll have extended coverage on KARE 11 and KARE 11 Plus beginning at 10:30. Newly unsealed search warrants are giving us new insight into Vance Belter, the alleged shooter in the lawmaker attacks. They also reveal more about his wife. Lou Raguse has been digging into those documents.
Before Vance Belter was arrested in a field near his rural Green Isle home the day after the murder of Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark, police were chasing another lead. According to a search warrant affidavit, Belter turned off his cell phone right after the murder. The next day, it turned back on. And as officers were closing in, a tip that the phone was at the Home Depot in Fridley, where workers there were trying to find its owner. Another search warrant reveals Belter's wife's reaction when first contacted by investigators. Quote, Jenny Belter initially was not forthcoming with knowledge of her husband being involved in something serious. The warrant says when told he was a person of interest in a shooting, she initially asked, why would you think that? Before finally admitting Belter sent her those ominous text messages about going to war and telling her to leave town. Court papers say Jenny Belter waited for police in Onamia, where they found in her car a safe, the whole family's passports, $10,000 in cash, and 2 guns, and was carrying out the family's so-called bailout plan as they were preppers who prepare for catastrophic incidents. But she has not been charged with a crime. Belter's first phone call after the shootings was to his 18-year-old son, though the search warrant doesn't reveal what he told the young man. Other nuggets of information in the new documents include that a U.S. Bank employee proactively called investigators to let them know Belter was there at 9 a.m. right when they opened, withdrawing money. In another twist to Belter's convoluted work history, court papers say he was employed by the U of M, which confirms he was a technician at the iDonation Bank up until the day before the shootings.
Belter is scheduled to be in court tomorrow morning, but that could be canceled if he's indicted by a grand jury today. So we're watching to see if an indictment comes down. Happening tomorrow, a memorial service for Metro Transit Police Officer Beverly Rodriguez, who drowned in White Bear Lake on Sunday. A celebration of life is open to the public at 10 a.m. at Stillwater High School. The Metro Transit Police Department's chief also posthumously promoted Rodriguez to lieutenant after serving for more than 8 years. Switching now to the Wolves. It's day 2 of the NBA draft, and this morning we're learning more about the newest member of the team chosen with pick number 17 in round 1, 18-year-old Johan Beringer. The 6'11" French center with a 7.5-foot wingspan has been playing basketball in Slovenia in the Euro Cup League. The general manager Matt Lloyd says the team and the fans are going to like him.
His combination of basket protection on defense and activity on offense is really something to be excited about. So he's kind of a longer term play, but we're ready to kind of enjoy the process of getting him up to speed.
It was also the first draft night for the organization's new majority owners, Mark Lowry and Alex Rodriguez. Brand new pictures from the war room here in the last 24 hours. We also got to hear from the duo for the first time following the deal, answering the question on all fans' minds, saying they are never moving the teams ever. They said, "You've built something special and we're honored to carry it forward." Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.